TEAMYAHAWASHI Productions.
I'm gonna send it to outer space to find another race. I'm gonna send it to outer space to find another race. I'm gonna send it to outer space to find another race.
This is a special Flat Earth announcement. Join Jason of Awake Souls and Ronnie of Event Skeptic live the 17th of September, 2 p.m. on Beyond Flat Earth. The broadcast will be covering the true working flat map of Earth. Please come try and debunk us if you think you can. Thank you. This has been a Truth Service announcement regarding the true shape and reality of our Earth. Goodbye.
Find another race. I'm gonna send it to outer space. Send it to outer space.
Hello, brother.
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good.
Just getting set up here, and so you want to tell everybody what we're going to be talking about today?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the map, how we found the map, how basically we see the movement moving and the things that we've had to do and go through. We want to share with everybody just what's going on inside our heads and inside the creative process and this whole flat Earth awakening.
Yeah. So there was one more thing. If you just want to tell people a little bit more about what we plan on talking about today. I'm just going to continue to get set up here, and I want to play a vlog that I recorded yesterday, and I just was not able to get it uploaded to YouTube today. They fought me over and over and over, like 8 different times. I tried all night. It won't go up. I think it's an important message because people that are paying attention to us right now, probably have picked up on the fact that I've gotten a little testy. And so this video covers that, and it talks, about why I am and what'll make it better. And so let me just finish getting set up here. If you want to start telling people about I don't know, why we started looking for a map, or once we started looking for a map, the things that we were looking for.
Yeah, you want to hit my camera? I'm screen sharing. So basically, we started looking for a map that would basically be a 2-dimensional representation of Earth with the least amount of distortions. Hey, ROTR, what's up? Mike from Flat Earth Photography. How's everybody doing? Today we are going to be explaining how we came across the map of our reality, and we're going to be sharing it with you guys. Beautiful day here in Austin, Texas. Probably 90 degrees.
Yeah. I just want I want everybody to know, Ronnie and I, we know we speak very dogmatically, all right, because nobody wants to listen to us. Nobody wants to hear us. And so we're shouting out what we have to say. And so we're just throwing it all out there saying this is absolutely 100% correct. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So at least we could get the interest of somebody that wants to come in and debunk us, that would actually come in and do the research and show us where something that we're promoting right now would be wrong, because that's what we've been asking for all along, is other people's input, other people's research on this topic. We feel like this has been a signed, sealed, delivered thing a long time ago, but nobody will touch it. All the popular flat earth channels completely ignored this. They will not show it. They're showing like a free energies model, and they have this new magnetic model. I think the things that we're going to be covering today should put to bed that, you know, those are disinformation as well. But I guess if I go back to a screen share, I'll just I'll play this new vlog that I made, and then we'll talk about, you know, sort of expound on what I just said right there, and then go into the map of this world and how we came to it. We're going to go through the Photoshop steps live. We're going to use SketchUp. We're going to do all this live. I'm going to start with fresh templates. We're going to build it together. I'm going to show you the thought process that I've gone through and why I've done the things that I've done. And what I'm hoping for is that somebody out there that has skills way better than mine, because I am not a Photoshop expert. I'm a hack at it, and it's going to become very clear. Same with SketchUp. I can make it work, but I am no pro. I've never taken any courses. It's all self-taught, and you know, I haven't had the time to make myself, you know, a guru of these things. But there are people that have, and so if they at least just look at the premise, you know, the idea construct, and then with the techniques that they have and the experience that they have with these different programs, I think that they should be able to make it a whole lot better than we have. And we need to have a lot of eyes on this. So let me go ahead and get the screen share going.
Still no camera. It's not working.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It's all right.
We'll get you on as soon as we come back from this. Yeah, it's at the beginning. Hello, everyone. Jason here again. It's been a little while since I've done a vlog, and it feels good to do one again. I wanted to take this opportunity to just let the people that have been following me closely understand the videos that I've been putting out lately. So I've been sort of irked off, like sort of pissed. And you know, we're supposed to be a truth community, looking for the truth. And Ronnie and I have, for some time now, been showing what is the true map of this world. And we've been completely ignored. We pointed out the problems that the popular AE model has, and we've been ignored, completely censored. We're screaming and shouting for the truth, and nobody wants to hear it. So I've been getting a little testy lately. I've been going after channels a little bit more aggressively than I had been in the past. And I've made the decision that I'm going to continue to ramp up the intensity over and over and over again, as much as I have to, until I get a debate from the popular flat earth channels. So, to like the Jarens, the Mark Sargents, Patricia Steer, Globebusters, Eric Bay, Mr. Thrive and Survive, any of the big name channels in Flat Earth. Oh, The Truth is Stranger Than Fiction. Of course, I just had something to say about Max Malone. Debate me. If you think you're standing on the truth, if you think I'm wrong, let's have a debate. Let's do it 2-on-2. Let's have some fun. I'm just out here for the truth. I thought that's what the rest of you are supposed to be out here for too. I don't want to get into a physical conflict with anyone. I don't want to fight anyone. I don't want to beat anyone up. I'm out here for the truth. And this is a mental war. Because I believe that the creator of this world is the God of the Bible. And everything in the Bible is true. What it predicts will come true. I see this as a spiritual war. And that battle is for the truth. Who's going to fight for the truth? Come on, people. I'm going to. Yes, I'm dogmatic. It's because I believe that what I'm saying is true. I've done the research. I have the evidence. If you think what you're saying is true, any one of you popular channels that I keep calling out as being satanic, which to me, remember, being satanic, I define that as somebody that will use lies and deception for personal gain. The way I define a true Christian is a truth seeker. Yahawashi is the way, the truth, and the life. There's no lies, no deception found in him. He didn't do things for personal gain to take advantage of other people. It was all about the truth. He is my teacher. I follow his ways. Every decision I make in this life is analyzed against how would Yahawashi do this? What I see from the scriptures is that he fought for the truth. He wasn't a pushover. He was no wimp. And he did it with a conviction as to sacrifice his own life in a painful death for the truth. He's my example. I would follow his ways. See, he had disciples that underwent the similar persecution. They were tortured for their faith in Yahawashi. Once you have the truth and feel it inside of you, it gives you a power that can overcome any fear of death. Once you know you're in a simulation, it makes it a whole lot easier. It's a little insider secret that takes the pressure off. You can know that you're in a simulation through research and study. If you come to the conclusion that Earth is flat, and then you look up, all right? This is a challenge to everyone that thinks that they're not in a simulation, but know that they're on a flat Earth. The next time the sun is out, at midday, whenever your solar noon is, put an umbrella over your head on a sunny day and see whether or not you're in the shadow of it. See, if the sun is over you in your circle of sight, chances are you don't live between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. The sun is over you where you live at your latitude. For me, I'm at 30 degrees north latitude, Austin, Texas, 30 degrees. For the sun to be over me in my circle of sight, on the flat Earth model, the sun's almost to the equinox, September 21st, the equator. That's a long, long distance from Austin. Okay, the sun would be at the horizon for me. But no, when I put an umbrella over my head, I am in the shadow of the sun. The sun is over me, and I'm at 30 degrees north latitude. Chances are most of you that hear this message live farther away from the equator than I do. Chances are you're going to be in the shadow. All right? You're in a simulation. Ronnie and I have the true map of this world. We didn't make it. All right? We figured out that it is the one, and we can prove it to you. This is a message to all the channels, popular flat earth channels out there. That are fighting the fact that we are in a simulation. I see your lies as soon as they come out. I understand them immediately. I will continue to expose you over and over and over again until somebody has the courage to finally stand up and debate me and Ronnie, two of us. 2 versus 2. Pick your partners. We're not going to stop until we get the debate, and we know But as soon as we get the debate, you will be completely defeated. You can see right through your lies and deception. So we'll see. We'll see what level of pressure we have to ramp it up to until we finally get a response. Or somebody from that popular flat earth community finally stands up and says they're willing to debate us. We'll see how long that takes.
Yay.
Let me just get back to where I can see something. Oh, I know what happened.
Got it under control.
I got it. All right, so I just want to get caught up with the chat a little bit and say hello to QN Fee, Flat Earth Photography, Tiger Dog. I guess those are our main commenters there. And let's see, Tiger Dog asks, what was Yahawashi's mission and what did he accomplish? You want to take a stab at that, Ronnie?
His mission was to free humanity, and he accomplished it. It's our gift to accept his accomplishments.
Yeah, so he came into this world. The world was corrupt. If you read the Bible, you'll see that there was a fall in humankind. Adam and Eve, they sinned, and the Creator came back into the world to buy back what was lost by that fall of Adam and Eve. And we were doomed to destruction because of that fall. And by him coming back, his name was Yahawashi, not Jesus, when he came back. He redeemed us and gave us a way out of this world. And yeah, it's interesting to discover that we're in a simulation. You know, it wasn't my first thought. It wasn't what I was raised being taught. But That's what the research has shown, and that's what we plan on covering today. And like we always do, but what we'd like to do today is have a real focused broadcast on the map, because like I mentioned in that vlog video, Truth is Stranger Than Fiction just put out a video like totally discouraging the idea of pursuing having a correct and working map. Did you catch that, Ronnie?
Oh yeah, I definitely did. And I believe the title of the video was "You Can Have the Map of the World and Still Be Lost." I think it was a cowardly attempt to tuck tail, and backhandedly he's promoting the whole magnetic Earth crap. And it's just really, really sad that that he's doing that, because the map's already been totally debunked. It's crap, right? And I think I'm screen sharing.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to share with everybody real quick right here in the chat right now. So for all you flat earthers out there that love the circle of the earth, like Zen Garcia and Rob Skiba, look at this. You see this map that's in front of you, Jay?
I do.
What do you think of this map here? What's this landmass right here?
Hawaii?
Hawaii. Ding. Yeah, you got the bell. So basically, what we don't have here is Antarctica, but it's basically a circular representation of our reality.
Yeah. Well, people will see as we go through this hangout here that it's most likely not a circle, but we don't have to rule it out. We can bring in, you, the listener, as a researcher. The map that we're going to be going through and showing today is the most accurate map of Earth. So I guess you would most likely want to use this map. And then if you wanted to put a circle around it and figure out how that works, you could do that. We've discovered that it actually works in the square rectangular shape. We don't know exactly if it's a square or if it's rectangular at all. We're going to be covering that, and that's where people's help could come in to know whether or not it's a square or rectangle perfectly. But I guess maybe go ahead.
Yeah, well, yeah. I started it off with the blender, but I'm going to hand the screen share over to you.
Okay.
My camera's still not working.
Let me see what I can do about that.
I don't know why. I guess I'm not pretty enough. It's all right though. Women are made to be pretty, right?
I'll make you the host here and see if that helps you out.
The host with the second most, the one they call Event Skeptic. And
there
we're
you
live.
are.
Live
Nice.
from Waikiki Beach, Hawaii. Okay,
So
back to you.
Get the screen share going. And
Oh, yep, chat's good. I can see it nicely today.
oh, good.
Yeah, Tiger Doug. Christ was successful. He achieved, fulfilling the needs for mankind to evolve to the next level. So basically, you're going to take us back to the stereographic projections. This would be about what, December, January, correct? Just about 2017, first month.
We could go back through and pick exact dates. We know that when I went on Globebusters, all right, I'm the only flat earther that ever got sniped off of Globebusters. But when I went on there, I did show an image. I think it's this one down below that we'll get to. At that time, I had already put out a video. So I'm 1 year in on going against the grain of the popular flat earth community. It was the fall equinox last year that I was doing research and came across that, you know, not only does the sun rise 90 degrees east and set 270 degrees west at the equator, it turns out it does it everywhere, all Earth. Okay. And it didn't take but just a second in my head to realize that that cannot work with the AE model that I've been taught. It was just like instant short circuit, like can't be 90, 270 everywhere if the sun and moon are doing circles. In fact, it could never be 90 and 270 ever. We'll get into that. But I had been researching math at the time. I talked a bit about some of the problems in math when I was on Globebusters. And the math led into cartography that I was going through in the research. And like I've told people for a long, long time, I knew this was a simulation before Flat Earth. I had figured that out through non-dualistic studies, the Eastern religions. I've spoken about this path many times. And I did come to the realization that I was in a simulation. So right away, as I'm going through this information, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of if we are on a flat plane, and I had already come to the conclusion that we are, then I know that we are looking for a flat two-dimensional map. And but because of all the rise and set angles of the sun and moon that I was studying during this time period, you know, the equinox, rising east, setting 270 west, I came to realize that the motions that we see in the what we call the northern hemisphere, quote unquote northern hemisphere, are mirrored in the southern hemisphere the other way, which the globe model is designed to account for that. And so there's so many globe earthers that seeing the data for the northern hemisphere, how it mirrors to the southern hemisphere, it's a huge hang up, and they realize that that popular flat earth model cannot work, and they just dismiss flat earth because of that. And so I was looking for a map that would project onto a globe. And I got down the path of stereographic maps of Earth, and I showed one on Globebusters. And I mean, you know how I got treated on there. And then so after that show, maybe you could fill in the blanks between being on Globebusters and when I was on Flat Earth Conspiracy.
Well, so like yourself, I was constantly trying to find the true map in reality. And I had been working with Lori Frary from the Flat Earth Conspiracy for a few months because she would at least accept that the circling sun model did not work. So she had asked me, because I interviewed you to get your side of the Flat Earth, and I suggested that you go on Globebusters, and then instantly you got contacted by Mr. Dearth, David Weiss. And you went on there, and then Lori wanted to have you on because she's seen what controversy you created. Like Jerry kept your camera on. They interrupted you. They were rude. They attacked you. They bullied you. It was 3 against 1. You did a valiant job. You held your ground. And then so the next week, was Monday or Wednesday, Lori had you on. And this is where, so you had shown this map on Globebusters that you're presenting here, the stereographic. It's a stereographic map, right? It's like the Lambert.
Well, it's a stereographic projection. And so when you do research on that, let me make this a little bigger. I had started looking into Blender and using Blender, and I was looking for ways that I could take a flat map and wrap it onto a sphere. And so I was just in the beginning phases of doing that. And I was looking for maps to do it with. And so I was looking for stereographic, and this was the first one I saw. I saw this, you know, this globe shape to this image right here, the way those, the lines of latitude and longitude. And then I took that and I put it onto a sphere And I saw the effect that it had, but yet it still didn't work out right. The way it was skewed, different things. I mean, clearly you can see there's no Alaska there, and the way Australian stuff all came around, I could still tell that this was not the map that I was looking for, but I was still looking for stereographic maps. And that's, we were talking to each other, and I told you, hey, I'm looking for stereographic maps. And you just started sending them at me like bam, 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 you know, because you had done all this research on the celestial sky, and you'd been researching all the like Lambert and
all the maps, yeah, trying to understand how the UTC grids worked, how the time and date line worked. I had basically like hundreds, if not thousands, of maps. I had a few gigabytes of map data, and then I came across the 1894 Oblique Mercator, and I remember thinking to myself, it's funny, if it's oblique, would that not be, if it's a little bit fatter at the bottom than it is at the top, wouldn't it kind of match what Neil deGrasse Tyson was saying? And I remember the revelation that I had. I shared it with you right away.
Yeah, the oblique to oblate. So we've got NASA and what's his name? The black actor.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, yeah.
Yeah, that guy. He said Earth's a little chubby. It's a oblate spheroid. And so it doesn't, once you're doing research, you see these connections, ding, 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 lights come on. So I take this map and I'm trying to wrap it onto a sphere in Blender, and I don't go through one of the steps correctly. And when I hit unwrap, wham, there it was. There was the globe. Not perfect, but wow. Because if you take a look at these lines here, let me get out the annotate. We'll get people, hopefully we get some questions in the chat, everybody. If you look at what would be the equator right here, look at the maps of Earth, Google Earth, all that. This lines up for an equator right through here. That the equator, that line hits these land masses at the right place. Now you got this wavy line right here on a 2D map, but as soon as you go and project that onto a sphere, that line right there turns into a straight line, like an equator, like a stripe around a croquet ball. Okay, it goes straight, and that it has to do with room lines. We can go into all this research. Jaren's had a whole bunch of trouble with Google Earth because when he tries to stretch a line, due east or due west, he sees how it curves down to the equator. We've explained all this a long time ago with room lines and how when you draw a straight line on here and wrap it onto a sphere, how it becomes a great circle route. That's what pilots and all that talk about. So, yeah, that answers a question that he's been asking for a long time and keeps people hung up like there's no answer to it, but it's been covered. That's an explanation for when you take a two-dimensional map and put it on a sphere. That's what happens. So if you know that you're not on a globe and you're on a two-dimensional map, that is what you would expect or what you would look for when you're looking for a map. And so, yeah, I got a chance to reveal this on Flat Earth Conspiracies Hangout with you. And can you tell us a little bit about that, how that went down?
Yeah, basically you took your time. Lori was freaking out. She kind of was stressing out. It was weird. She was getting calls that day. She kept rushing things, and I said, let Jason do his thing. And then bam, you threw down the map, you showed how it projected to a globe, and you went through the basic run through, it was great. And then Lori ended up freaking out, getting all the whole, this is Bob and Cammy's map. And we said, no, Bob and Cammy showed the celestial chart map, and they didn't even have it correct. They had it like backwards and upside down. And then she put the show on private. But you and I believe QNF, huge shout out to QNF. I think you guys had it downloaded. And, the rest was history.
Yeah. But yet still nobody is reaching out saying, hey, thanks for sharing the true map of the world. We have all these channels doing everything they can to silence us, make sure that people don't hear about this, that this is what actually works. And we're going to go into it. So hopefully people, if you have some questions about this, let us answer them. But the next iteration that we started working with, we had a little bit of help. We had somebody that we were communicating with, and he sent a link. We had looked all around for here we go. We had looked all around for high-res versions of that 1984 CS Pierce. And I mean, you've got terabytes of things that your research, that you've screen recorded, screenshotted. You're a serious researcher, and you hadn't come across it anywhere, and all of a sudden, bam, out of nowhere, we got some maps showing up. So, whoops, this right here is one of the ones that we were put onto. And if you take a look at this and compare it to the CS Pierce 1894, well, this right here is remarkably similar. The only thing that's different on it is, I'm going to pull out the annotate again. So Antarctica is split on the map on the CS Pierce, and on this one they have the whole thing together. I'm going to show you in another one. They actually left behind a few little degree symbols and things like that on one of the maps. Not sure if it'll be high enough res for people to catch in the live hangout. You can definitely go look at it yourself, show you how to find it. But so when I looked at this map right here, I realized that all I had to do is in Photoshop, trim Antarctica right here, take that side around, slap it on the other side, and of course, all those grid lines line up perfectly. Okay, so all they did is stylize the map by leaving Antarctica together as one over here. Because we didn't make this map. We didn't go out and fly around and survey the whole world. We didn't we didn't set up those grid lines that way. Can you hear that?
A little bit. What is it? A plane?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I think it's an airboat coming up the river.
Oh. It's not that loud.
Okay. If it gets too noisy, let me know and I'll mute. And
oh, you're good.
So there's this map. This can be found on World's Map Online. Oh, can't go to the next page with the annotate on. And then there's this map. All right, so this is a lot like the other one, but now they've got Antarctica as one on the other side under South America. But on this one, you can actually pick up the, if you go to the actual image, let me clear this. But with the, around here, they have the numbers for the longitudes, and up here they have the numbers for the latitudes. So you can tell by looking at this image where the seam is. you can see that this right here is your 0360. It goes through Greenwich, England. It goes up to a North Pole right here. And if you look on the back side, this image right here, it says 180 degrees longitude. All right, so this right here is the prime meridian. This right here is the anti-meridian. And once again, this one right here is the equator. But since we're used to, let me stop this again. Since we're used to this layout, where we're looking at the prime meridian that goes through Greenwich, New England, we're used to looking at as a vertical line in front of us, then we would see Antarctica split in two on either side here.
I just want to jump in for 1 second.
Yeah. I
just want to jump in here. Oops, 1 sec. Okay, just so people know, what you're saying is that when we, this here, which I'm showing, so you see this map here is almost the same representative of what we're showing. Okay, this is the equator and the tropics here. This is your west, this is your east, correct? As you can see on the ball on the right here, it now wraps around like a croquet ball, but it kind of aligns it with the north, with Polaris and with Sigma Octantis, as you can see. So what Jason's saying is when you wrap these, here's your time, your date line or whatever, your prime meridian here. When you wrap these odd shapes, as you can see, look at the size of the red here. You see the size here, Jason?
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. I mean,
this comes back to a ribbon.
Yeah, to just study that image. We've done this live over and over. This is a doable thing. You can take the image, you can wrap it yourself, and you will see that the image on the left, when wrapped over onto a sphere, gives you those croquet ball lines.
Right here. And you can obviously see, ladies and gentlemen, that these aren't evenly shaped lines.
We are not Photoshop nor Blender nor any other program experts whatsoever. We're a couple of carpenters that have been, you're just working our butts off doing this research, and the popular flat earth community just won't hear of it whatsoever. They won't speak our names. They don't want to be any part of this. Well, I did looking for the map.
So I did add the colors on this map, though. I am a carpenter, but I did do a little bit of Photoshop work here. QNF helped me a bit, but I put the colors in. This was the map that Glowbusters presented, and they put everything upside down and backwards. You see the map that I'm showing here. This was the big flat Earth map reveal. And I'm going to throw it back to you, but I just wanted to say the reason why me and Jason are so brash is because we have found these truths, and we so desperately want to share them with people, and we just get nothing but, completely crapped on, and it's frustrating because we've had such great liberation that we've wanted to share with everyone, and we have to troll. We have to we're coming to yell. We got the documents. We don't want to yell. We want to be out here with happiness. And when we found these things, we were like, you can go back and watch our Beyond Flat Earths. It was like an epiphany, like Jason was saying. So when we go back to the map here, ladies and gentlemen, I just hope everyone can understand that you can see how these distortions so the skies are wrapped around us. The creator made this beautiful, beautiful realm, and he made it so we were on a two-dimensional flat plane. We all know how water works, but he wrapped the sky around us. It's so amazing. I can't even begin to comprehend how he did any of this. All I know is we've been blessed with this knowledge, and we have been censored, blocked, accused, mocked. You got Truth is Stranger Than Fiction putting out a video about maps. Doesn't show our map. We just want to share it. We don't care if you put your name on the map and share it. We just want the work out there, and we're not going to stop. And I got so much to add. I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna give it to you, Jay.
Do we get paid to do this?
No, I've never got it done. Actually, I've spent more money being and lost more hours in work. And
do we have any royalty that's going to come from any book deals, any TV shows, any? No,
nothing. We get nothing.
No, we just love the truth and we want to share it. And it gets a little frustrating when you know that you have something that's way better than everything else that's being promoted, and not a person will listen. Not a person will look into this information whatsoever.
So I'm not going to interrupt you. Have you haven't gone through the Hotine projection? You're working up to that, correct?
Yeah. Well,
okay,
I was gonna take the image right into Photoshop and show people the process that I went through so that other people can do it better.
I think just before that, do you have the link for the Hotine?
Oh yeah, I want to make sure people understand that this is the most accurate map. If
you could read that before you go into the Photoshop, because then people have context for what you're doing, right? Because we found this map. Clifford Cox, huge shout out. He was one of the people who he jumped on when we accidentally put the link in the YouTube chat, and we were looking for people to join us, and he came in and said, hey, this map kind of looks similar to what you guys are showing. And that's when Jason found this site that he's pulling up now. And I put it in my video, Cartography and the Flat Earth According to Enoch. And I'll let you take it away, brother.
Yeah, so I'm just going to keep going through these tabs a little bit. I've sort of had a thought process to them. So we were at this one, and then this one is the same one as this one as far as, the way it has Antarctica as one underneath South America. We talked about how, splitting Antarctica, we'll get into that. I like this map best out of all. Online, this is the highest resolution picture of all. So it is the clearest one that I can possibly use. It has the outlines of the countries on it, and it's in a nice bright blue. It shows how arid the areas are. It's semi-topographical. It shows reliefs in the oceans and all that kind of stuff. So this is the map that I've been using the most, but any one of these you could be using. Now this oblique Mercator projection, I just sort of want to go into this whole thing. NASA talks about it, the space oblique Mercator projection, and they have a book on it, the space oblique Mercator projection, and here's that PDF you can find online. And so I recommend people go through this information here, and you're going to see that there's tons of big formulas that might scare off the average person, and I'm not going to go through the formulas themselves, but what I was doing is reading the paragraphs in between the formulas. And the big thing to understand here, I'm just going to scream this out over and over and over. If we are not on a sphere, the map that we are looking for is a flat two-dimensional map. All right, but then we have these other requirements that we're looking for as far as the celestial sky is concerned. So if we get to, where is the website for this? I thought I had the tab up. All right, I'm just going to go to the website for this. Should go this there. Oh. All right, satellite image maps. here are these maps. Let me see if I can make this bigger for people to be able to see. Here's another one of the same ones. This has got some different blues going on. I can't find a high-res version of it. But I just want to read this. This is the description. World Maps Online. This is for an oblique Mercator. This stunning, detailed satellite image map of the world features both land cover and bathymetric data depicted in an oblique Mercator projection. The parameters of this map projection have been carefully chosen so that the inevitable distortion that occurs is relegated to the oceans and to the least populated and least recognizable land masses. The result is a unique, visually interesting, flat map of the world that exhibits nearly no distortion in the most familiar areas, even at the poles. This version of the map has been done in a stylish portrait orientation, perfectly suited to hang as an elegant piece of art in your home, office, or gallery. It's so pretty. Well, it is pretty to me. But the important things to take out of this is that this oblique Mercator is a representation of our Earth where all these land masses, okay, are represented as accurately as possible without the normal distortion that you find in other maps. Look at Antarctica. It's not distorted. Well, it turns out that it's, whereas, you know, it's actually split in two. There is a Western and Eastern Australia. Let's take a look at map of Antarctica quick. All right. For all the globe believers, they've seen this before. You've got West Antarctica over here. You've got East Antarctica over here. Keep track of which side is which, everybody. The one that has the island chain out here, that's West Antarctica. Doesn't actually make sense the way they have it labeled on the globe so much. You'll see where it makes sense. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to start with this image here. And I'm going to show you how I get my orientation. And so let me go ahead and bring up Photoshop. All right, so keep in mind, everybody, don't make fun of my Photoshop skills. I just have most basic skills to get by. So I'm just going to delete all this. I was doing a little bit of practice. And let's go ahead and start importing. Place embedded. So we want that one that is like this. All right, so I'm just going to stretch this out to the width of this document. I'm using a 12-inch by 12-inch document. And because I stretched it in width, it's at 108% that way. So I'm going to make the height equal. Go 108% there, so we haven't distorted the map at all. And so the next task is we're going to trim this side over here. All right, so I'm just going to get rid of this background first. Make a new layer with that selection. And now I'm going to take that, move it over to this side of the map. Now I'm going to grab this and drag it over.
I keep in mind, Jason, I just wanted to mention, we had the 1894 CS Pierce map, and we had an upper. They provided the Hotine, but they didn't provide the correct orientation. They said they did it in a stylish portrait, and we already have an idea. Just letting people know that as you keep going, and this is a wonderful job.
Yeah, that's the reason why, because I had already seen that CS Pierce map, that I'm doing this. Now you'll notice the colors in this map right here are a little bit darker, a little hard to see. Let me bring out the annotate here and just point something out. Here is the North Pole, and this is the prime meridian on this map. And notice where it runs through. It runs through Greenwich, England. Then the equator, is this line here. This is what we're familiar with, people. Keep in mind that there's people all over Earth that if the shape of our continent was not like this, if there was no Baja Peninsula, if Florida wasn't a peninsula like this, if I went out to the coast in Texas and it wasn't, this shape right here, I would know that something's wrong. It would be self-evident and easy, and we could all scream and shout and demand that we get this area remapped. But when we go out to the coast, these are the shapes that we're familiar with. It's a little bit different than, honestly, it's not that much different than the popular AE model. It's not. If you look at the shapes of these things, but this has defined edges. It has 4 sides. It has 4 corners. The thing that's going to throw everybody off is that with this map right here, to fly from California to Hawaii to Japan, you would go across this edge right here, and you would continue through on this side. Well, and that right there, it's like a short circuit for most people because they go, well, that's not possible in physical reality. But I've been telling people this is not the physical reality that you think it is. Those are lies and deceptions.
Well, not only that, but as children, we all learned in school when we were drawing flight routes and mapping in geography class that you did actually come back to the other side in all directions. That was always known. That's not a secret.
I'm just trying to get caught up with the chat here. Looks like ROTR might have some questions. Well, ROTR says here, they're definitely rendered to us, that's for sure, but when the scriptures speak of the sun and moon being made, is there one sun and moon we see them rendered to us a little differently depending?
Well, no, go ahead.
What I see is one sun and moon for me. But I know that the person 10 miles to the east or west of me, when they watch the sunrise and sunset, that they're not seeing like the same physical sun. Right? Because they'll see it rise through a set of clouds that's off on their horizon. The person on the other side will see it rise and set through a different set of clouds. It's all being rendered back to our eyes specifically, but there is just one sun and moon.
Yeah, it's like in the video games, the new video games now, like Fallout Boy or whatever. The game has a cycle that it runs, and wherever you are in the game, it matches where the sun would rise and set. So basically, in this realm, in this reality, wherever you are matches where the sun's time and set will be, in regardless of your position. It has its path, but you are observing it in your own sphere, in your own way. It's unidirectional, and it is also fully immersive for everybody.
Oh, ROTR says there's another question. Let's see. So what do you guys believe goes on outside of our circle of sight? Do you think there is one real sun and moon, maybe outside of our circle of sight along the tropic line showed on your map?
That's what I just answered. So the sun starts in the east, it rises in the east. That's the beginning of the day. And it sets in the west, and that's the end of the day when it sets for Hawaiians. So wherever you are along that 24-hour path, the sun will be where it's calculated and predicted to be always. It will never veer from that course, but you have a unidirectional observation from the ground of the sun. But it will always be on that line. So if it's outside your circle of sight, you can just look up where it would be on that map, and you're going to know exactly where the sun is. It will be there.
But this is a tricky one where we have to talk about the macro and the micro on that topic, which is something that I plan on doing some modeling on and getting into a deeper discussion today. So, please stick around, and as we get into that modeling, I'm going to be addressing that question specifically, and it's what I'm going to be showing is the macro to the micro, because I do not believe that there is one physical sun, one physical moon traveling over the course of this map right here, and that comes from observations when I look up, and I'm sure you get the same ones too, but we just need to. I'll show you how to look at it so you can go out and test it and observe it for yourself. I'm sorry. So I think most people probably get an idea from what I did right here, as far as, the map, being able to take one of these oblique Mercators and move it around. So there's, see. Oh no, I wanted to. So this is just the best version that we've come up with it so far, and these lines here, all I've done is trace the lines on the map that would be the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. I have those in yellow. I've traced the equator in red, and the green line that I have would be the prime meridian and the anti-meridian. We picked that up from the other images, that this is 180 over on this side. This is 0. So I don't know if the map goes farther to the north here or if it goes farther to the south here. I don't know. We could figure that out through continually wrapping this into a blender, and if we had somebody that had extreme mathematical skills, we could use things like the WGS to extrapolate all these data points. I don't know that we need to get into that type of detail as to how much land there is right here and there. The big point is the whole concept of the map. These curved latitudes and longitude lines over a two-dimensional map. We encourage people, we've done it before, you can go through the Hangouts, draw a straight line between, New York and Cape Town, South Africa right here, and then take this map. So I'll just draw a straight line here. Draw a straight line from New York to Cape Town. That is a direct straight flight right there on a two-dimensional flat plane. But lo and behold, you take this map and you wrap it onto a sphere, and you have what looks like a great circle route. Exact same, you see the exact same thing if you were looking at Google Earth and drew a line between those places. So that's interesting. That's all part of the research that's gone into why we use and promote this map. Are there any questions, anyone?
I can still go through Blender and then I can show the stars
Yeah.
after. You want to do a little chat for now?
Mm-hmm. Gotta close the annotate. Let me just look at some of these other tabs. Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about the macro to the micro aspect. And I want to draw everybody's attention. Let me get the screen share going again here. So what we have coming up here, it's fall equinox time again, everybody. This is what got me to break ranks with the popular flat earth community 1 year ago. And we have 4 specific times each year that are moments to measure things and know things are dead on, dead accurate. And the fall equinox is one of them because the sun rises 90 degrees east and sets 270 degrees west everywhere on Earth. Now, there is some stuff that I've noticed in prepping and looking into this material. Let me get to timeanddate.com. And so here's, go up to September. So we saw that it's September 22nd. Couple things that stand out for me. I'm looking at the rise and set angles here in Austin, and it's 23rd, it says 90 to 70. The other thing that I'm looking at here is that it's not 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of nighttime until the 26th. That stands out as curious to me because they've always said that that happens on the equinox. You can see here that it doesn't, at least not this year. So what I want to do is start modeling up this macro to the micro. Let me get SketchUp going. And I'm going to walk everybody through how to do this so that if you want to do it yourself and test it out, I think it's sort of fun. I'm just going to wipe this out and let's start over fresh. All right, so we're going to open up a new. Starts out with this guy right here. I'm going to leave him in here. You know, you can delete him if you want to, but it's going to help us with our scaling just a little bit to have this guy is scaled up to a normal human height. So I'm going to take a circle for a circle of sight. I'm going to go from this origin and drag along one of these axes. And 3 miles is 15,840 feet. So what I've done right there is I've created a 3-mile circle of sight. And this number 3 miles has been coming up. You know, Jaren wants to do a 3-mile laser test. 3 miles, we know for a person that, you know, eyes at 6 foot, the horizon's 3 miles away. So I've been suggesting and saying that the sun is about 3 miles away from us if we're on level ground. So the green line right here is north. So we've got east over here, west over here. This is a circle of sight. So on the equinox, first off, what I want to do is to make this arc. Just note that this is 15,838 15,838 feet 10 inches. So I'm going to go up. $15,838 feet and 10 inches. So now I've got a line there. Now I'm going to put a 3-point arc here, going from east, go up to, there it is, come around here. There, we've got a nice sunrise, sunset arc. Anybody know where this location, where we would see this? The equator. This is 90 east, 270 west with a 90-degree overhead meridian crossing. So we know that the sun is over the observer at the equator. And then if you are north or south of it, you're going to have declination. So let's go back to I'm going to go to SunCalc for this. And just show y'all. I'm over here. Oh, I want that to move. Why is it being stubborn? There we go. So as I move this around, Austin is, just go a little bit further south, roughly 30 degrees north latitude. Now with this top slider, I can see that right, oh, I got to change the date here to September 22nd. They said that's the equinox. Now as I rise this slider, right when the light turns on, right there where it's telling us 89.73 degrees. All right, so that's 90 really. And then we slide through here, and just as it sets, let's see, right there, 270 degrees. So it rose 90 degrees east, set 270 degrees west, but let's come back here and look at its noon meridian passing. So we'll look for, there we're at 180 degrees. So we're looking at 60 degrees for its altitude. It's azimuthal, and oh, not azimuthal, the other one. If we go back to the model here.
I just want to say, as well, if you minus 30 off of your meridian passing, it'll give you your latitude.
Yeah,
so we've left you are on the 30th latitude, correct?
Yeah, so the 30 degrees north, 30 degrees south, the elevation is 6 degrees. It adds up to 90. So you were up by the 45th latitude, and at the equinox, your elevation for your sun angle was 45 degrees, right? Well, we can test that. I'll test it right here. Watch me drag this up to 45 degrees. Where is that? There we go. At 45 degrees right there. See, I was a little bit north of Toronto, but the There it is, 44.98. Okay. Now here's the big kicker. Let's go do this in the southern hemisphere, everybody. Let's come over here, get ourselves over South America, have some land to work with. I'm going down to 30 degrees south. All right, so there's 30 right there. So now the elevation angle, 60 degrees, back up towards the north. This should be creating short circuits in people's heads that believe in the popular AE model right now. And then we'll take it down to 45 degrees to show you that to the north and south. There you've got your elevation angle of 45 degrees. So this mirrors both directions in the quote unquote northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. We can take a brief look at how this does not work on the popular flat earth model. And then we'll go back to my small circle of sight and talk about the macro to the micro. So in SketchUp, we've got the Gleason's map here. Get this lined up a little bit so that everybody's comfortable with the view. Now, I know there are a ton of popular flat earth channels that will go, well, I don't agree with the Gleason's map. I don't know what map it is. How many times have we heard that? It doesn't matter what map you put underneath this. The inherent problem is in the circular model. Having the sun and moon doing circles like this is the inherent problem. Forget about the land masses underneath it. I just want to do something here. We're from this North Pole. I'm going to draw a line out to the equator. We're coming up to the equinox. If I set the line right here, pretty much going through Austin, which would be right there. Now, if I bring out the protractor, snap to that point right there, snap off of that line right there, coming around 90 degrees. This line is now perpendicular, exactly. I'm going to go ahead and set another one at a higher latitude. Let's do the same thing with Toronto. Pull this out like this. Oh. Clear that off. And I just need a point right at Toronto. Oh, come on. Come back from the all right, a little bit of grief. And now I'm setting the protractor at that point, snapping off of the north right here, coming around 90. I just want everybody we're going to dive in here and look at these things. I want you to see that in Austin, 90 degrees east, 270 degrees west, where that dotted line intersects with a sun that would be traveling around the equator would be over here, and it would be setting over here. In Toronto, 90 degrees east would have the sun rising over here and setting over here. Now think about the distances, people, of how far the sun would have to be away to be having that kind of sunrise and sunset. There's so many short circuits with this. It's unbelievable. This does not work. Let's talk about what we actually see. We're going to go back to this model. For a person in the north right here, the sun's rising in the east and setting in the west over here. We do know and we do observe when the sun rises, it's ascending. It goes through the cloud layers. We do film clouds behind the sun. And it goes up and over. We can see that the crepuscular rays are above us, comes back down and sets in the west. This is for a location on the equator. So let's go ahead and do one of these for Austin, 30 degrees. I'll show you how we figure this out. At 60 degrees was our elevation angle. I'm going to show you on SketchUp that in order to rotate this now, I get my position, the camera down here closer. Drive it in a little bit. Now I'm going to take the rotate tool. Put on this point. Now I'm going to, since I'm clicking off of this, this is what I'm going to be wanting to rotate. I'm going to want to go 30 degrees. And that'll create an elevation angle from the ground of 60. So if we get back in position for the cameras behind us, north is behind us, here's our person. This is you and I on the equinox right here. When we turn and look to the left, our left, we'll see the sun rise 90 degrees east. It's going to come up at this angle. It's going to follow this path in the sky over us. At midday, it'll be due south of us, 60 degrees high in the sky. And then at sunset, we'll see it sliding down this angle here, right here, that slides down and it sets at 270 degrees west. Now this exact circle of view right here can be used in the south, the opposite direction on the equinox. Now, if we took this and set this angle to 45 degrees, we could use this up by Toronto at 45 degrees north. And then we could spin this around the other direction and use it 45 degrees south latitude on the same day. And the equator one just went straight overhead at 90 degrees. So this is what we see on the individual basis. Each one of us, wherever we are, this circle of sight is dependent on our elevation. If you've got something like a drone, the higher it goes up, the larger your circle of sight. Down at ground level for most of us, our circle of sight is limited to around 3 miles, usually less because you usually have lots of things out at the horizon like trees and houses and stuff like that that make our circle of sight even shorter, unless if we're on some hills, we've got some vantage point. each one of us, our circle of sight renders the angles of the sunrise, the sunset, based on our latitude and longitude. And that's where we go back to these maps. Or I'll show it from Photoshop. So on here, keep in mind from Austin, my north, this is where the magnetic declination maps come in. So if this is Austin right here, my north is going like this here. I wish I would show in a color. Make a layer. All right. Yeah, so my north's going like that direction here, but then somebody at 45 degrees north, their direction is going like north like this, and then from up here, their north is going like this. These are what magnetic declination maps are all about. Look at where north is. If you're in Anchorage, Alaska, which I think is somewhere in this range, well, this is your direction north right here. Then from here to here, it's like this. And from here to here, it's like this. Now we have an interesting story from the eclipse, where we got to meet some people that went, or they tried to go up to one of these, like, it's way north of Barrow, Alaska. It was someplace way up there. And they got to a point where they're told you had to have specific permission to be able to visit this city. Like, they didn't allow outsiders in it. And so that was up on the Arctic coast right here. And so from here, we don't know what's up here. We know that you're from Canada, and you said there is a dew line. They actually built something up there. We know that war is a hoax, but I guess there is a... Go ahead.
Hey, excellent job there, breaking down the magnetic lines, the map, how we came about. Like, thank you. It was very peaceful, and it was enjoyable for me to go through that experience with everyone in the chat. Let me play the video, because their testimony really speaks for itself. You know, we could just it's only a 6 minute video here. I'll just let it run.
I'm gonna grab something to drink.
Okay. Just got to make sure I had the sound turned on here in my screen share, and I didn't. And we're back. This is Event Skeptic, Ronnie Harris, with Jason Laufenberg of Awake Souls, and we're joined by a lovely man and his lovely wife, Carl from Altamont. How you doing, Carl?
You're fine.
It's really nice to meet you.
You too.
Do you guys have your solar eclipse glasses?
We have one pair we share.
You do have a pair, so you're going to put it on
There, share 'em.
at the beginning and the end of the eclipse?
Yeah. We will share the one pair.
I've got an extra pair for you.
Yeah, I got a few extra pairs too.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah. We're going to be looking at most of it with our eyes. We don't believe God would create something that would blind us.
Really?
That's what we believe. We're going to...
I don't think it will blind you either unless you stare at it the whole time.
Right.
You know, hell, I look at the sun every day.
So do we. So do we.
It's gonna kill you.
So you guys traveled from Altamont down here?
Yeah.
To Alto Pass.
Alto Pass.
Yes.
So Jason, when we got called over here to socialize very, very nicely from this wonderful lady, and we got talking about
Alaska. Jason,
Arctic Circle.
why don't you set this up a little bit here?
Well, they've traveled all over the country, and they mentioned how they've been to Alaska and traveled into the Arctic Circle. And one of the things that we've been talking about is this no 24-hour sun above the horizon, where you can see it circling all the way around you. And Carl, you've been there.
Yes.
Does the sun stay up?
No, it got dark on us every day that we were there.
At the Arctic Circle.
At the Arctic Circle.
Yes.
So Carl and his lovely lady, you're saying that the sun set in the summer in the Arctic Circle?
Yes.
Yes.
We
Yes.
stayed overnight at the Arctic Circle.
And this was during the time period that the sun would have been up
Yes.
24 hours.
Yes, it was in August.
Yep.
It was-
What time did it get dark?
It was like 12. I picked low bush cranberries like at 12:30 at night. I'm gonna say 1:32, somewhere in there.
Is when the sun set.
Yes, but it got dark and
Yep.
the sun rose again the next morning.
And that's
Wonderful
That's the
testimony.
gospel.
Yep.
Because we were there. I mean, we saw it with our own eyes, you know.
Yep.
and
Yeah,
go ahead.
I always thought, when that if it got dark, you only had 4 hours of sunlight, it would be, or darkness, it would be like from 10 to 2.
Right.
But it's not, it's later than that, but it don't get light very early in the morning. It'd be 7 o'clock before it would get light again.
So it's just like that 2 to 7 that it was dark.
Yes.
Yeah, about 5 hours, I
Yeah,
would say.
but it was dark. Definitely dark.
Because you'd think it was going about the time to get light. Lay there in the camper and watching, it would be a real faint light on the horizon, but it'd take forever for it to get daylight again.
And then the other thing that you guys mentioned that I thought was interesting was that city that...
Prudhoe Bay.
Yeah. Can you say, what was it again?
Prudhoe Bay.
Prudhoe Bay. That you were told that you
Cannot go into town.
you cannot go into town.
Right.
Gotta have...
You have to book a tour. They will stop you. I'm not exactly sure, but I thought the couple we talked to said it was 12 miles outside of Prudhoe Bay. And you either turn around or you book a tour and they will take you around. Because this couple we talked to there at the Arctic Circle had done that.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So
Yes.
they told you had to pay them.
Yes, you have to book a tour if you want to go into town and see whatever there is to see, and they will also take you out on the water.
And a boat ride, a ferry.
Yes, yes. Yeah, but you cannot drive into that town. They stop you.
And you said it was security?
Yeah, it's something to do with Homeland Security, some sort of, but you're not allowed in the town.
Interesting.
In the Arctic Circle. So everybody, this testimony, shout out to everybody. We got a huge shout out to Jason.
That's some good testimony, right? I think your audio's out. Audio's not connected. All right. So I
Should be working.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Okay, yeah, no, that was great. That was the gospel, right? Like she
Yeah.
said.
No 24-hour sun, and then what we're talking about. So it seems that people
Prudhoe Bay.
really want to have. Yeah, go Prudhoe Bay.
Oh,
Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And just go back here. We don't know what's in this area. We do have testimony from people that these cities that are up here, that are, right on the edge of this Arctic Ocean, you're not allowed to go to. We've got the dew line. My guess is that Russia, this area over here, is probably just like Canada and Alaska is. this seems to be a pretty secret place on this map. You notice that?
Mm-hmm. Totally. It's there's definitely something to it.
Yeah. So if there's a Mount Meru, or if the Garden of Eden, or
Garden of Eden, that's I lived in the north here, above the Great Lakes at the bottom left or middle left, and I could see a swirling light emanating from the north. So my belief is that the northern lights is probably really intense, and you can't fly over this area of the earth. There's no flights that go over there. And you'd think like if you were going to Russia to play hockey from Canada, you would just bounce right over the north there. But no, they don't. NASA's excuse is there's radiation from the magnetic fields of radiation around Earth. But that's the mystery, like you said, Jason, of the North. There is such a mystery there, and everybody is fixed on. So yeah, there's the North up there where he's putting my annotation. The fixation on Antarctica, I think, is maybe to try and hide the fact that there's something beautiful in the North. There could be Mount Meru.
we don't know. We don't know. And there's going to be a lot of naysayers that come out and say that, well, there's no way that we can know that this is the correct map of the Earth. But I am prepared for those people because
well, and if I could share again, I have one more thing. So I'd like to just show everybody how the stars work. So not only that, but excuse me, here's let me just create this so too low quality. So this pardon me, I'm gonna play this.
That was the rainbow.
That is a major fail point for the AE model.
Yeah.
And it makes perfect sense when you look at it like this.
Yeah, it was a slam dunk for me as well. And for you. So if we look at the map here, the green line is the meridian.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the celestial axis. So it goes from Polaris to Sigma Octantis. And these are the tropics and the equator. And they cut it at New Greenwich, the timeline here.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we're looking from the west, so from Wolfie 6020's, part of this Earth, we're going to notice that the stars. Where's my graphic? Let's see here. Video editor. I haven't had this open in so long.
I know
but it's good because
it's a blast from the past, and we've been doing this for just 6 months, so it's crazy.
Well, I hope people go back and actually take a look at what we've done, because that's what the whole goal here is. What was it? It's this one, so that we can have people doing their own observations and peer reviewing our work, so to speak, but actual peer reviewing it. So here we go. This one's the right one. So now we're looking north from the south, and we're going to notice that the stars are going to do what appears to be a clockwork rotation. I'll speed it up a bit. Oh,
there it is.
Counterclockwise in the north, sorry.
Yeah.
And we're going to notice a clockwise rotation from the south.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone looking north on Earth will see the sky rotating counterclockwise. And then anyone from the north of the Earth looking south will see clockwise rotations. It's pretty evident. And then, so looking from Australia, where Wolfie 6020 lives, you're going to see the stars setting. They're going to be going down when you look west. And anybody on Earth looking east is going to see the stars rising. And this is what we observe in reality.
So
this is what we observe, right? And that is the macro. The macro view.
That'd be a macro view. It's not a big sphere over the whole map like that. What it is it's oriented to our latitude and longitude, the angles that we see the North Pole and the South Sigmodontous area. Okay, there's not a single star there, but there is a point of rotation in the southern hemisphere. And the angle, the orientation of that sphere is set to each one of us based on our latitude. And that is some modeling that I really do want to get into and get out there. Of course, the whole idea behind this hangout was to get people understanding that the map we've been using is the most accurate map of Earth. Hands down, bar none, unless you think you live on a globe, in which case the globe would be the most accurate map of Earth. So if you are looking for a flat map, that oblique Mercator is the most accurate. And it just so happens to wrap up on a sphere just right.
Perfectly, which I started off the show showing everyone exactly how it does. And you know, we're looking for people that are better than us at this, that basically know how to do this better than us, but it's so easy for me to show. So when I click back onto my maps and I can just switch it. Okay, so that was, no, that's the wrong one. So that picture that Jason was working on, boom, it comes like this. And so you basically, all you do is you make tiny adjustments in the mesh system here. It's pretty good where I have it. You know, I could just probably leave it like that. And Jason doesn't have perfect lines, but you can see the distortions are kind of in the water. So like you can see here how when I show you the mesh again, oops. So here's the meshing system, and you can adjust it. You can do different things with the mesh. Am I still screen sharing?
It just cut out.
I noticed that. So yeah, you can tweak it, you can adjust it. And so what Jason was doing was he basically had the view set wrong, and he got lucky when he projected. So you can clip it to aspect bounds, you can scale it to bounds, you can change a bunch of things. I'm just a carpenter, right? But so someone out there, if you're a Blender expert and you want to help us out, we could use more skill, more understanding. But like if you just play with it a bit, you can get pretty close. And then basically you go to object mode to view, and then just turn this here off back to default setting. Oh, animation. We get into all that stuff at another time. But so when I have it like this, and then I zoom in, so as you can see here, it instantly snaps the land masses to almost
a 24-degree tilt.
Yeah, so it pretty much snaps it on. So using this map, there's no need for magnetic and true north. They're just as north, the magnetic lines. Jason was explaining today that north are these lines. So when you overlay a Lambert projection and an oblique Mercator, and not a projection, but the map, this is how so you start off, you can use a square map, and when you zoom in, you get a little more detailed until you finally get down to the map that has these magnetic lines orientated where you are on the land. This map does away with all of that. You can see it shows what I would say it's like a rubber ducky or an elephant. Antarctica, you know, this shape is what the globe earthers have been raised to believe. You know, eastern and western Antarctica forms this, and if I go to my UV unwrap again, I can show you guys. Like it comes out of this image, right? So we're not playing any tricks here. This is just how the Earth works. It is this. We know water's flat and level, and we know that this map shows exactly how it should look and work. So, you know, I just want to share that.
It's true, and we've been shouting it out, and none of the popular flat Earth channels will even speak our names, and so I feel like I'm being forced to troll for the truth, and Timmy is a character that says he trolls for the truth, and he's been in this fake opposition game with Globebusters from the beginning. He's the guy that sniped me. I'm not angry with Timmy. I know that he's playing a role. I've invited him on Beyond Flat Earth with us. I'm not looking for a fist fight. I'm not looking for any of that. I want to argue about the details of what we observe and make sense of it as far as being able to understand our reality is concerned. I'm happy to have this debate with any of these people. I know you are too.
And we got to
go ahead.
Yeah. Well, we had a question in the chat, but you can finish your statement.
Well, I'm just saying that I feel driven, like the spirit's leading me, that this is my role, that this is what I need to do, that I'm going to just shout it louder and louder and louder until eventually somebody will come debate us on these topics so that we can get this information out in the open. We can get liars and deceivers exposed, and we can just continue back with what originally Flat Earth was supposed to be all about, this big truth revelation. And you can tell any observer out there that's been following the Flat Earth, you can see that it's been stifled, that it's none of those popular channels are putting out new evidence. They're just muddying the waters with, infighting amongst themselves. Then you've got you and I attacking them, and we're the bad guys. We're just saying, come on, we got something that needs to be checked out. Come debunk it, please, because if you can't, it's true. And if we're wrong on something, we want to be corrected.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, just the way that the energy started when I started. So Tiger Dan was trying to find the true map, and he was trying to fix the land masses correctly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he failed, and then Flat Earth got a huge knockdown. Like all the globe trolls were like, it's over, we won, because the circling sun map didn't work, which we helped debunk. We kept pushing on. We kept on fighting. I seen there was tens of thousands of people cheering on Tiger Dan for his work, for his map results, and me and you motored on. We did 100,000 times more clicks to find the truth and share it with people, and we're thankful. We got Helen, we got Rebel Without a Cause, we got Flat Earth Photography, QNV, we got ROTR, we got tons of people here in the chat, but we're still missing where's everyone else? How come no one's sharing this? So Jason, you came up with a brilliant idea. We could stretch a water level out down here on this bay here, not too far from Galveston, make Houston great again, make Lower Texas great again. We could prove the earth is flat. I have had not a one person comment. We're going to put 3 mile worth of hose together, have a clear end, have lines marked, fill the hose up with water periodically throughout the test, and we're going to show. Jason's going to call me. He's going to, is your end level, Ronnie? What is it at? I'm going to say it's 6 ticks above the water, and he's going to hold his above the water, and he's 6 ticks above the water. We're going to prove the earth is flat. We needed 105 people. Have you heard anything from anybody on that topic, sir?
I have heard from 3 people, and I'm sure you can guess who they are.
I know. So where's the
Flat Earth Photography, Enslaved by Media, and David were the 3 people that reached out and were like, this is a great idea. Let's go ahead and get this going. And there's been crickets, nothing else. We could have had this experiment ready to go this next weekend already, and nothing. So Jaron proposes an irrational, completely debunkable experiment, and everybody goes crazy. We show how his experiment is ludicrous and designed to fail from the start, and we have one that is really unfailable, right? As long as we don't have a hole in one of the hoses that we need. But really, water levels always show level as long as you go. And so we can show over 3 miles at water's level. If that's what people want to see, we can show that. And it's a great marketing tool to show people as well that if you have globe Earth believers around you, that, hey, look at the world's longest water level has proven the water is low.
Totally. We can prove flat Earth and get in the Guinness Book of World Records for having the longest water level. It's genius, really. we get nothing.
The mind exercise is really enough alone. Once you start thinking through the experiment, it becomes obvious that the water that you're measuring is level. But to go through the steps and actually hook up the hoses and film and record it and turn it into a video that can be, distributed for people to watch. I see the benefit in that too. You're having something tangible to work with. But as you start studying the experiment, you start realizing how ridiculous it is to think that we're on a ball.
Even though we can map it up. So there was a question again about the stars. Did they think we thought the stars were in our reality? I believe the stars are in the second heaven. The sun and the moon might be the lowest. So the moon would be the lowest. Enoch has a really good breakdown of that. We are going to be getting into some modeling of that too. But right now, today's episode, this broadcast was dedicated to, so this right here is the celestial sky chart. This is the ecliptic path. It also lines up with the map we were producing. This is how you can chart out where each star is throughout its course. And it as well, again, it projects onto a sphere beautifully. And again, this is a 2-dimensional representation of the sky.
Well,
so this just wraps around our Earth.
For anybody that's followed Globusters, you've probably heard Bob say that he was going to start showing maps again. This was a little while ago. And he did mention that he had Antarctica split into 2, as of course we do, and the celestial sky map is as well. So then all of a sudden the magnetic model came out, and they were all on board with that. But keep in mind, people, that magnetic model still has the sun and moon doing circles, and it's not possible. We can show you from the elevation, the azimuth and elevation data of the sunrise and sunset in the southern hemisphere, that the sun is not doing circles. All we have to do is look from the fall equinox to the spring equinox, and it's clear that it's not doing circles. So that model has been debunked. Really, the moment it came out, it was, well, and even before that, the people that are creating that video are the same ones promoting CGI of the 24-hour sun.
Same people, yeah. And we've already shown that it's complete, absolute garbage, what they're trying to do. I don't know why this isn't working, but basically the sphere inside of the sphere is going to be, the model is going to be something like this, but I'm going to put our map on here just to show how the stars and everything does work. But we do live on a flat plane.
But the way the sky is rendered to us, here's the big hang up for a lot of people. Buckle your seatbelt. A lot of people aren't going to like hearing this. We live on a flat plane, but the way the Creator designed this world, the way the sky is rendered to us, represents us being on a ball. Okay? That is the way it would look. So the globe model is just projected all these numbers out to the positions where the sun would need to be at, where the moon would need to be at in order to make that all work. Still, when doing that, the globe model fails over and over and over again. It's close. It's better than the popular flat Earth model. I give it that for the sky representation.
It's better. But it still fails because the axis of rotation doesn't work with the celestial equator and the ecliptic path being fixed. Like the ball demands everywhere we are, we're on the top of the ball. So the sky actually follows. So at a 90-degree angle, everyone should have a straight parallel equator of stars running above their head. But that only happens on the equator. So it basically disproves the axis of rotation. And that's a whole other topic we're going to get to in the future. But I'm blessed to be a part of this. My mind's a little bit slow. I'm so thankful you just smashed this presentation out, man. Thank you, Jason. You did a great job.
Well, I just want people to understand. Yeah, I just want people to understand that I'm fighting for the truth, and I'm not going to give up. And I don't. If I make mistakes and somebody can correct me, I appreciate you. That is not, I'm not going to be upset with you. I appreciate you for looking into it, to doing the research, to doing the studies that are necessary to find the flaws in what we might be promoting. So I welcome it. I hope there's a lot of it. I hope we start talking about this map in the flat Earth community, and put it to bed, put it to rest if it doesn't work. But if it is the correct map, which we're told it is the most accurate map of Earth, let's go with it. Let's run with it. Let's share this truth with everyone.
Totally. I'm going to play out a video here. I'll get it queued up. Is there any last comments? What's going on moving forward? What can we do, Jay? Is there anything you got on your mind?
I'm planning 8 o'clock. Wednesday night this week. We've been real busy with secular work, but today's hangout, Wednesday's hangout, I feel real strong about doing as much as we can. Our studies show 2017 to be a real special year. We see the Revelation 12 sign, that prophecy being fulfilled this year, along with a host of other things that it is always our hope and expectation that Yahawashi's return is soon, is near. I'm praying for that all the time. Hopefully it's not too much longer. So we've got before the 23rd, Wednesday would be our last Beyond Flat Earth. I'm not expecting to be raptured on the 23rd, but I am looking to see what will be fulfilled. We know we have the Day of Atonement coming up. We have the Feast of Tabernacles. And this has not been my area of specialty whatsoever. In fact, learning about the Revelation 12 sign, you and I did it together, just a little while ago this year. And there's people that have been on this topic. I have been going to Steve Fletcher 222 for his information regarding the Revelation 12 sign, because I do feel that within the Revelation 12 community, that just like within the popular flat Earth, that there are COINTEL channels, insiders that are in there to muddy up the water and to spread more lies and deception. Steve Fletcher 222, from watching his videos, his material seems very accurate, and I love his heart condition.
Yeah, hey, I love your heart condition as well, brother. And Q, get in touch with us. Get on Zoom. You got stuff you want to share, Q? I want to push it. I want to help promote it. Thank you, everyone, for being here in the chat. It's a blessing, Jay. You're the best, man. The host with the most. I'm the co-host with the most. And that's it. I'll play us out when I mute. And thanks, Jason. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Hi guys, it's Jet Skeptic Media here. This is such an exciting day. I swear we're going to see the Flat Earthers' first model. I heard Flat Earth British talking about it on a hangout with Doomweaver, and this is going to be history in the making. I can't wait. This is so exciting. Globebusters have their first map, working map. This is going to blow all the skepticism away. Even me. I might even change my name to Jed Flat Earth Media. My heart's beating here. I can't wait. Let's go, guys. Let's watch this.
Oh, you heard that right. Join Awake Souls, Jason Laufenberg, and Ronnie Harris of Event Skeptic.
I can't wait. This is so exciting. Globebusters have their first map, working map. It's...
Okay. The Flat Earth working map and model, macro to micro.